What's good, y'all? I'm super hyped to talk about the massive Beheeyem buffs, a super sick Pokemon that was very underrated in my opinion. Very cool design. I love alien type Pokemon, alien-esque Pokemon, and Beheeyem is no exception. Beheeyem has two incredible offensive abilities in Analytic and Tinted Lens. Tinted Lens, flavor-wise, I think is extremely fitting for Beheeyem. It's this alien, otherworldly creature, and it has those very obvious, green tinted eyes, and it's all about like using the flashing lights on its body and stuff. So I think Tinted Lens is very fitting. It was out of that or Levitate. Levitate is a great ability because in this hack you do have access to infinite usability capsules. So despite being a very situational ability, it is nice to be immune to ground when you need it. But I opted for Tinted Lens because number one, I fucking love Tinted Lens. It's probably my favorite ability overall, alongside Hustle. I love it, so that's the main reason I went with that over Levitate. Also, I think it's bulky enough now to where Levitate isn't as needed, although if it was fairly on the physical side, I would probably have given it Levitate anyways. Not that ground moves aren't special because there's a bunch of those now, but regardless, great abilities, all right? Analytic Tinted Lens, you can switch. Oh my god, I was going to say swap and switch. You can switch between those two depending on what you need, because Analytic is obviously a massive 30% boost to your special attack, which is already behemoth at 150 base. Keep in mind, by the way, if you're new here, welcome. Check out the description below. There's a link to all of the move buffs and changes. There's 600 plus of them. There's a link to that in the description, and you can also check out all the other Pokemon buffs and a bunch of other important stuff in the description below. But yeah, Beheeyem, great stats, but these are nothing that crazy for this ROM hack standards. There's tons of regular Pokemon that have base stat totals this high. There's tons of two-stage Pokemon that have base stat totals at 550. There's new tiers of stronger Pokemon and all this crazy stuff. So if you're new here, make sure you keep that in mind and don't just look at this and be like, holy shit, he just made Beheeyem broken for no reason. Not to mention, this is still a pure Psychic type. Relatively poopy type, especially offensively, but Tinted Lens and Analytic and the massive special attacks that of course make up for that, and they balance that out. But he is still, despite being relatively bulky on the physical side, not relatively, he's really tanky actually, 75, 105, and 140, but he still drops to a stab first impression or a ruthless boosted first impression for the most part, unless you're running like max Fizz Def or something, which you can do in game because you do have access to infinite EV training items. But Beheeyem really appreciates the addition of priority moves such as Influx, which is a special Psychic type priority move, which is great for Beheeyem. You can use that with Tinted Lens, for example. You also have setup moves like Nasty Plot and Power Glow and Calm Mind, and healing moves like Recover, and great utility moves such as Volt Switch, Neuralize, which is essentially disable but 15 turns, and it might even be priority. I forget about that part, and I'm too lazy to check it right now, but it doesn't matter. It's still a great move because in-game, of course, the AI is not going to switch out unless they're using a switch move, so you can essentially disable a really important move on the opponent's team, especially for totems, for example. The Neuralize is especially great for totems, but in general, it's useful just to have that infinite disable. And logically that fits very well, obviously, as Beheeyem's literally known for like using those little lights to tamper with memories and stuff. This is actually one of the Pokemon I had in mind when I made this move. But yeah, Power Glow is incredible, although honestly it's kind of overkill. +3 special attack is great and all, but you really don't even need that. Keep in mind also those only have 1 PP, but mostly you're going to be using Power Glow with Trick Room or Influx. Otherwise, like, you may as well just run Calm Mind for the bulk, which is better on slower sets with Analytic. Analytic, obviously it's incredible. It has incredible utility moves also, stuff like situational, good things like, terrain, rain, all kinds of little screens, little things like that are also useful in game versus the AI. Obviously, this is what this hack is balanced around. Future Sight is insane with Tinted Lens. But what I was trying to say earlier is that the pure Psychic typing does hold it back a lot and keeps it from being anything too crazy. Not that it's bad, but like it lacks resistances and only has Psychic and Fighting resists, and then it is not that great offensively, although it does have incredible covers to hit anything that could ever dream of resisting Psychic, with Orosphere, Focus Blast, Earth Power, and Mystical Fire and stuff. So that's great for him. Signal Beam even to hit Dark types and stuff if it's a specific dual type Mon that is weak to Signal Beam but not Orosphere or something. Not to mention Signal Beam's good for earlier on, and that has like a chance to boost your special attack. All these moves are buffed or changed, by the way. Like, really, definitely give those move sheets a look. It's really important to check out all the new move effects because those are super important to how the Pokemon functions. But yeah, Future Sight, incredible with Tinted Lens or Analytic, honestly, either one. Mesmerize is a 100% accurate sleep move. Trick Room is now neutral priority, so if you slap a Quick Claw, which is now modified to always activate and disappear after it activates, you can get priority Trick Room, and then you can go to town with your moves, with your strong strong moves. You can run Tinted Lens and not even care about coverage. That's the great thing about Tinted Lens, is that you don't have to run coverage moves with it. Besides, in this case, for Dark, if you need to hit a Dark type. But not every boss fight is going to have a Dark type, so you can easily just tack on a TM to hit those Dark types and then tack on a different TM to hit, you know, or for utility or something, for example. But Calm Mind, Trick Room, it's got so many great things. Powerful stab moves like Psycho Boost, Side Strike, and Subspace Tear, which have their own little unique effects and pros and cons over one another. It's just a beautiful, offensive, bulky Pokemon with great utility as well, but obviously it's mostly just a fucking nuke. Even LGM is very powerful, although it will be on a Kala Island. It will not be on Melee Island, just for balancing reasons. Although honestly, it might be fine. Like Hala would still probably shit on it. It wouldn't be able to solo Hala because of the stuff you'll have for psychic types, but it's still going to be on a Kala Island mon. At the earliest. But yeah, great buffs and changes for Beheeyem. Super sick Pokemon. Honestly, I could talk about a few other things. Like I said, Mesmerize, that's a 100% accurate sleep move. That always lasts for 2 turns, and you can use that to get up a setup move, or you can use Quick Claw, Mesmerize to put them to sleep before they can taunt you. You know, then you can use Trick Room to get up a guaranteed Trick Room. So either way, it's great. It's really great. You can use Mesmerize, Trick Room, Tinted Lens, Psychic move, and then filler. You know, there's so many great things. Early game, also for totems, you have great stuff like Simple Beam plus Strange Impulse. Simple Beam gives them simple, so not only will that override any nasty abilities that totems may have, it will also make it so debuffing moves, which are very common in attack, especially Parting Shot, those will do double the drop. So that's really useful for totems, which are, again, there are 3 of them on a Kala, so that's why a lot of Pokemon learn those types of moves in the mid-20s. Strange Impulse, -2 special attack, that's great. Even the Guard Split and Power Swap. Guard Swap, for example, is priority, that's great. Parabolic Giga Drain, holy crap, I'm going too quick. Parabolic Charge and Giga Drain are great for Assault Vest sets and other stuff in general to get some sustainability if you're not running Recover. Healing items are disabled, though, so you're going to want some type of recovery, or not. You don't have to. You can always use Wish, or just switch it out when it's low HP, of course, but then you have to play differently, so really just depends on what you need and your other teammates and everything, and just your preferred play style. Power Split, Guard Split are pretty useful because your 30 base attack is actually pretty garbage, obviously, so you can use that versus, like, I don't know, Totem Lurantis and neuter their attack if you want to, because they might have Contrary or something to stop you from stat debuffing them, or they might have something else instead, actually, but something arguably better for a totem to have. This is unrelated, all right? This is my sign to end the video off. I think that I'm rambling a little bit too much, so yeah, check out the changes below in the Google Sheet. You can look at all the sick Pokemon buffs and changes in the hack. Check out your favorite Pokemon, all that fun stuff. Make sure you leave a comment down below if you did listen this far into the video. I appreciate it if you did. Definitely make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and I appreciate your time. Peace, y'all.